All right, guys, today we're going to do this quiz. I am going to go ahead and put third period here so I won't get the papers confused. Here, I'm going to be working out a couple of the problems with you, and then I'll give you a little bit of time to work out the next couple problems. If I'm moving too fast at any given time, you can unmute yourself and just say, Miss Reyes, can you slow down, please? Or you can raise your hand because I can see that. If you want to type it in the chat, just note that I might not see it as fast as I would if you do a hand raise or if you unmute and just let me know. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to do 1 and 2, and then you're going to do 3 and 4. Okay? I'm going to do 1 and 2, and you're going to do 3 and 4. But you're going to answer all of them, but you're just going to do 3 and 4 on your own. So let's do 1 and 2 together. The first, in this first block, it's asking you to write a linear equation. And anytime that I'm asking you to write a linear equation, it is understood that I want you to write it in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So let me write this down. And we talked about slope-intercept form being like a uniform. It's the way an equation looks, okay? It's the way an equation looks. So when an equation looks like this, where you have y is equal to, you have a number attached to x, and then you have a number that has no variable attached at all, that equation is written in slope-intercept form, okay? All right, so let's do the very first one. When you're writing an equation, you need to identify what the slope is. The letter for slope is m. And then you need to identify what the y-intercept is. The letter for y-intercept is b. Okay? So let's find the slope of this line first. So to find the slope of the line, I picked 2 good points that I can read. Okay, so I'm going to pick this point right here, which is 0 and 2. And I'm going to pick this point right here at the top. So now I can count rise over run, which is the formula for slope. I rise 1, 2, 3. So my top number is a positive 3 because I went up 3. And I went to the right 1 time. So my bottom number is a positive 1. This is a positive slope because from left to right, the line is going up. And I didn't ask you to describe the slope, so you don't have to describe the slope. I'm just describing the slope, so I'll know that my slope is a positive number. 3 divided by 1 is 3, so m is 3. Any questions about how I found the slope? Your y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. It crosses the y-axis. Remember, this is the y-axis. It crosses the y-axis right here at 2. So my b is 2. Okay? So now that I have m and I have b, I'm going to substitute. I'm going to replace m with 3, and I'm going to replace b with 2. So my equation is going to be y is equal to, my m is 3, so put 3. Then I have x. And my b is a positive 2, so I'm going to put plus 2. And this is my answer. Please make sure that you type these things in. And I'm going to pause for the calls. Okay, so let's look at number 2 now. I noticed that from left to right, this line is going down. So this is a negative slope, okay? This is a negative slope. So that means my answer, let me make sure I put positive slope here and negative slope here. That means my answer for m is going to be a negative number, okay? So now I'm going to pick 2 points on the line. I know this point right here is 0, 0. And I'm going to pick another point, which is right here in the crease. This is 3 and negative 1. Okay, so now I have 2 points. So remember, my formula for slope is rise over run. So here I have to go down 1. So that's going to be a negative 1 on the top because I'm going down 1. I'm going to the right 1, 2, 3 times. So my bottom number is a positive 3. So my answer is negative 1 over 3 for slope. Any questions about that? All right, B. That's where your line crosses the y-axis. This is my y-axis here. So my line crosses the y-axis right here at 0. So B here is equal to 0. So my equation, I'm going to replace M with negative 1/3, and I'm going to replace B with 0. So I get y is equal to negative 1/3 x plus 0. Or I don't have to put, because it's a plus 0, I don't have to put a number there. I can just leave it as this. It's not wrong if you want to leave it as plus 0, okay? And I'll pause for the calls. Any questions as I'm pausing? Okay, so now I'm going to give you a little bit of time to answer numbers 3 and 4, okay? I'm going to pause here. All right, remember, if I'm going too fast, you tell me. So let's turn over to the next page, or you stroll down to the next page. And this is what we're doing here. We're writing a linear equation. Remember, when you write a linear equation, you're going to write it in slope-intercept form. And again, slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m represents the slope and b represents the y-intercept, where the line crosses the y-axis, okay? So now you are given the slope, m, and you're given b, and all you have to do is just plug those values into the equation. So here, my m is 7, you see that? Because that's the slope. And my b is negative 5, because that's my y-intercept. So all I'm going to do is substitute these two values into this form. So that gives me y, see y, is equal to, my m is positive 7. So I'm going to write 7 here, positive 7, and my put x right beside it. And my b is a negative 5, so I'm just going to put minus 5. And this is my answer. Any questions about how I did that? Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing here. My m is negative 4, which is my slope, and my b, my y-intercept, is 3. So I'm going to substitute these values into this form. So this gives me y is equal to m, which is negative 5, bring down my x. B is a positive 3, so I'm going to put plus 3 because it's a positive 3. And this is my equation. Any questions about that? So now you're going to do 7 and 8. I'm going to pause for the calls. Okay, so let's do number 9 together. Please write as I write so you'll know what to do. Now we're writing a linear equation again in slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. And you're given the slope, which is m. But now you're given a point. So you're not given b. You're given a point. You're given an x value and a y value. And what you have to do in both of these problems is find b. That way you can write an equation in slope-intercept form. Okay? So here, you already know what m is. It's telling you that the slope is 4. But it doesn't tell you what b is. So you've got to find it. So in order to find b, you're going to use y equals mx plus b and substitute the values that you know, or the values that you have. You have an x value and a y value and an m value, and you're going to solve for b. So my y, look at this, y is negative 3. Okay, bring down my equal. M is 4. It's automatically multiplication here. See that? My x is 2, so this is times 2 plus b. So now all I have to do is solve for b. So in order to solve for b, we're going to multiply this first. Bring -3 down. This gives me 8 plus b. To get b by itself, to solve for b, I get rid of this positive 8 by subtracting 8 on both sides. A negative plus a negative is going to be a negative. This is 8, 9, 10, 11, so this is a -11. This is gone, and I'm left with b. So my b is -11, and my m is 4. So then my equation is going to be y is equal to 4, because this is m, x minus 11, because b is a -11. Any questions about that? Okay, I'm going to pause. Okay. I'm going to do one more problem, and then you'll only have 10 and 12 to do, and you'll be finished with this quiz, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that problem. Is there anyone that is still copying this down? Because I don't want to leave anybody behind. Okay, all right, good deal. So I'm going to go on and turn to the next page. You can come back and do this one later. And remember, you know what M is, but you need to find B, just like we did here. Okay? And then you write your equation. All right, so this is the last one, last type of problem that we're doing. In number 11, they did not give you M or B. Remember, you're writing a linear equation. That means you're going to write it in y equals mx plus b form. They did not give you M. They did not give you B. So you have to find both. You have to figure out what M is, then you have to figure out what B is. So we're going to find M first, okay? So we use the formula for slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All right? So you have two ordered pairs. That means you have two x's and two y's. This is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. Why is that, Miss Reyes? Because this is my first point, because it's written first. This is my second point, because it's written second. So now I'm going to take these values, and I'm going to plug them into this formula, simplify, okay, and reduce. So let's see what this gives me. On the top, I get y2, which is 13, minus y1, which is 5. On the bottom, x2 is 5 minus x1 is 1. So on the top, you get 7. Well, here, when you subtract 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, that's 8 on the top. And on the bottom, you get 4 when you subtract. So now, look at this. When I reduce, this is going to give me 2. So my M is 2. Now I do the same thing to find B that I did on the previous page. And to find B, I use y equals mx plus b. I'm going to put find B here. Okay, so you'll know. And this was find M here. So when you go back and look at this, you'll know what I did, okay? All right, so we use y equals mx plus b. I'm going to pick the easiest point. I'm going to pick this point right here. Doesn't matter which one you choose, but I'm going to just choose that one. So we got 1 and 5. This is a x, this is a y, and m is 2. So I'm going to plug these values in to this form. My y is 5. My m is 2. My x is 1. And I put plus b. Okay. Now I'm going to multiply here, which gives me 2. Okay, bring everything down. I solved for B by getting rid of this 2, so I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. 5 minus 2 gives me 3. This is gone. That's 0, so I'm left with B. So my M is 2. Do you see that? And my B is 3. So the equation is going to be Y is equal to M, which is 3. Don't forget to attach the X. And, oh, sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. M is 2. 2X plus 3. B is 3. My apologies. And this is your answer here. Please make sure that you rewatch the video if you need help, if you have questions. Do not hesitate to text me and ask me questions. I'm going to stop the video at this time. Once you finish with the quiz, submit it. Questions, comments, or concerns? Okay.